Chickadee, 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 chickadee check. Mike 1 2, 1 2 1 2. What up, everybody? It's your man RTP Skull Gang in the building. You know what time it is. Actually, you might not know what time it is. You might feel a little confused right now. Looking for this. Might feel a little confused right now. Might be feeling like, what happened to the roundtable, RTP? What happened to the roundtable? Well, unfortunately, your boy's not welcome back to the roundtable. It's okay. It was starting to get a little retarded, anyways. Listen up, people. That was supposed to be for fun. The roundtable was supposed to be for fun. Unfortunately, I brought too much football to the table. It is what it is. It was going to happen eventually. This happens. Listen, this is nothing. I know a lot of you guys are new to me and this is a new channel. But I've been on YouTube since 2012. This is nothing new to me. This happens all the time. Everyone hears RTP and his explanation. RTP's crazy. RTP don't know what he's talking about. You're lying about this player. You're lying about your team. You're lying about what's going on. And then a couple months run by and the season plays its course and RTP was right. And then they don't even want to talk to me no more because now they've talked so much junk and they've gone through so much crap that they don't want to even show their face. It happens. This is the norm. It's nothing new here. Nothing new to see. But ladies and gentlemen, let me just explain. Hold on, drop new link to new Discord. Why? What's wrong with the old Discord? I want to talk to you guys about a few things, man, because it's got to be good. I see a new guy named Tay Zonde. Shout out to Tay Zonde. Anti-Baker Simulator, which that's not what this channel is or about at all. But I'd like for y'all to understand something, especially you, Tay. You've just came across a Buccaneers YouTube content creator who actually knows what he's talking about. Now, shout out to everyone that makes content creation for their team, especially for the Buccaneers. But let me just say this, man. You are not getting the content for the Buccaneers that you are getting here. We break down film, we break down press conferences, and time again, I am right. Even when I am wrong, I am right. And that sounds like, oh my God, this guy's dumb. I have went into the NFC South roundtable and said, I am more than sure that we're going to win this game. But if we do lose this game, the only chance you have of winning this game is if this happens. And then it goes and it happens. And then they try to act like I didn't know what I was talking about. When I just told them, this is literally the only way you guys could win the game. On wax, on tape, it's there. How about this? Have you heard any of the Buccaneers content creators say this stuff right here? Everything. Let's dissect everything. Every player. There's no more, okay, I think he should be a starter. Like, this is where we're going. We're going to start stripping things. This is what I'm feeling. We're going to start stripping things. What I mean by that is, like, even though it already happened during the game, it's going to be a situation now where Bose is going to look at everybody now. We're looking at everybody, every coach, everything. We're going to look at everything. Like, now you can see, I said it yesterday when we had the press conference. I said, Bose looks gone. Like, he looks like he looks like he got hit. Like, he's out of it. Coach looks out of it. Like, Bose looks like, man, like he looked like it was like, man, it was bad for him, right? And I think he's starting to feel that fire now. He's starting to feel that flingity flamey flame on that booty. He's starting to feel that fire, that seat's getting hot. And now he's like, listen, we're gonna break everything down. Who's doing what they're supposed to do? And now what I mean by stripping everything down is when he's saying, we signed Ryan Neal and we probably promised him. We probably said, look, if you take this deal, you're gonna be our starting safety. Like, that's something that we do. That's something that Todd Bowles does. That's something that Jason Light does. We promise players, listen, if you come to us, you will start for us. You will do this. We promise them playing time and stuff like that. That's how you get people to come to you and take that deal or whatever. So it's to the point now where Todd Bowles might have been like, yo, Ryan Neal was our starting safety, and I told him that he was going to be our starting safety, and that's why he's holding on to him, and that's why he's, giving him all the opportunities to be able to do what he has to do. He's giving him all the opportunities, as well as maybe other people that are starters that shouldn't be starters. And I can't think of anybody else, but Ryan Neal's the first one that I think of. And he's going to go on the tape now and be like, okay, you're not playing up to par. Sit your butt down. We're putting somebody else in. He's going to start stripping this team. He's going to start, okay, you know what? Everybody is supposed to be doing their job. Everybody's leaders. Everybody has roles. Now we're gonna find. Now we're digging deep.
Man, this guy knows
who's not doing their role. Okay,
this guy's good.
I gotta set an example. You something gotta go. You sit down. Let's see if somebody else can do your role. Let's see if somebody else can do your role. That's just what has to happen. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I don't know what other players I could be. But I think Filer maybe now with Stinney. I think Stinney's been in there now. I think that Stinney's going to probably stay there. Ryan Neal's another guy that might be getting switched out with D. Delaney now, and D. Delaney's probably going to start starting now. I don't know for sure, but we'll see. But I think that's what he's talking about. That's what's going on. You can see in his face. You can see in Todd Bowles' face that it's like, now it's no more nice guy. Now it's like, you know what? You don't want to listen to me? All right. I'm not getting my butt fired for y'all. Like, I'm not now. Bowles is not playing, right? And let's continue with because I'll tell you.
And we're doing that. And we're doing that today. And
we're doing that today. We're gonna make sure it gets done.
Was a big part of why you were 3-1. Thanks to single digits, the most passing yards. Changed his rationale.
Tried to be slick in those games. Then he tried to say, "Yards, what has happened? We given up." That's so. Do you see the turnovers? Never right away. Both answer. It fell apart in this game. All those other games doing their job. That for the most part, defense, and he's answering this question.
This game,
there's some other stuff I said.
That's coach talk. Since day one, they've been in this situation trying to get the media as we did when we won the Super Bowl back. But I want you to know.
Well, whatever. There's basically I explained it right there, which was, we got some other stuff that I said too that we're going to get to. But before we do that, basically what I was saying right there.
These teams.
Basically what I was saying right there was exactly what happened. We stripped the team down. We went to see, because I literally named Joe Tryon somewhere in there. I named Joe Tryon like, listen, Joe, you're not going to do what you got to do. We're going to start going through these guys, and we're going to start seeing who can do what. And that's what we literally did. So a lot of y'all have been seeing highlights, little clips of, I think his name is Marquise Watts. I know his last name is Watts, number 58. I think it's Marquise Watts. I could be wrong about that. A lot of us knew about him in the preseason. And that's exactly what happened. Listen to this. Logan Hall, right? First of all, let's go. Kalijah Kancey, 73% of the snaps he played, 46 snaps. Then it goes from that to Vita Vea, 39 snaps, 62%. So those two defensive linemen played the most snaps. Kalijah Cansey at 46 and Vita Vea at 39. Kalijah Cansey, they're starting to give Kalijah Cansey more and more reps. Then it gets interesting. Logan Hall, defensive end, 31 snaps at 49%. Shaq Barrett, 31 snaps at 49%. Yaya Diaby is next with 27 snaps at 43%. More than Joe Tryon, who is at 24 snaps at 38%. Greg Gaines at 24 snaps at 38%. So it looks like Yaya has now been inserted as the starting outside linebacker. Now, he might have not started the game as outside linebacker, but he had more snaps than Joe Tryon, and it was never even close before. And now you got Joe Tryon, Greg Gaines, Anthony Nelson with just one snap less than Joe Tryon at 23 at 37%. Even Marquise Watts, the rookie, undrafted rookie that we were talking about, had 11 snaps for 17%. Mike Green, 6 snaps for 10%. Cam Gill, 4 snaps for 6%. It was exactly what I said. Todd Bowles did exactly what I thought he was going to do. He started stripping the team down. He said, we are not, enough. I gave everybody the ample amount of opportunity to prove to me that they should stay the starter. We are now in the middle of the season. If you are still not performing to a high level as a starter, we will start looking to see who can make that performance, who can produce and make the production that we want. Oh, yeah, and Yaya got a sack. Oh, we got 4 sacks. We got a lot of quarterback hits, but we got 4 sacks in that game. Bear in mind you, not only am I saying things that other Buccaneer content creators are not saying, I am literally saying before that happened. You got Buccaneers content creators who still don't even understand what's going on after they watch the game, after they watch the all 22 content. They still don't know what's going on with the team. They just giving you your average Buccaneer / NFL, ESPN football talk that they feel is football talk. Meanwhile, I am telling you things that are going to happen because I just know my team and I know football and I understand who my coach is and I understand how they are and my players. So I told you that we're going to do this and they did. And we had 4 sacks. You know who those 4 sacks were? Kalijah Cansey, Vita Vea, Shaq Barrett, and Yaya Diaby. That sounds like poetic justice. That sounds like speaking into existence type stuff, does it not? We feel like that should be the starting lineup. We know besides Yaya Diaby, that pretty much is the starting lineup. The only one that we felt has been slacking is Joe Tryon. And let me say this, is not to say, oh, trade Joe Tryon or Joe Tryon shouldn't be on this team. No, you're dumb if you think that because we need depth. You can never have too many outside linebackers. You can never have enough depth. But what I am saying is, as a starting outside linebacker, the amount of destruction and pressure when it comes to pass rush, Diaby is already doing as much, if not better, than Joe Tryon. Now, the reason why Joe Tryon stays our starter is because he is good against the pass. I mean, good against the run. And I've said this many times. Buck fans have to listen to this. This is why I urge you guys, because you guys are informed on this channel. This is why I urge you guys to share my channel, not to blow up or anything like that. Because these Buck fans are just dumb. They got to understand certain things. You are not going to start for us unless you start getting good at stopping the run. You cannot be a problem for us stopping the run game. If you can't stop the run, you're not going to get a chance to start. You'll get some snaps on third down and stuff like that, but you won't get a chance to start. We just won't. We will not put you in there if you're a problem when trying to stop the run. If they can run the ball on you, we're not putting you out there. So Yaya has gotten better at that, and now he's getting more snaps. But this is literally what I was saying. This is what I was saying about stripping the defense down and Bowles no longer being the nice guy. And let me say another thing, because, shout out to Mr. Buck Nation once again. I was actually on one of his live streams. I wasn't on there, but I was tippity-typing on there, sending him some donos and stuff like that, because he was on a live stream with his friend Billy. I think it's Billy. It's either Billy or Bob. I can never remember, but I think it's Billy. He was on there talking about, should we keep Baker or should we extend Baker? And I was like, oh, I'm so glad I caught them. And I was sending donos and just proving points about why Baker is not nothing. Baker is just okay. He just looks better than okay because of the weapons we have. Because of the weapons we have. Like, it's crazy. Matter of fact, let me show you something else. And we're going, from this to that, but let me show you this graph. Let me show you this graph. I don't think it was there. Or was it? Where are you at? Put this in the chat. Oh, here we go. All right. Let's put it on there. Nope, let's put it on there. Look at this graph. Now, it's probably hard for you to see, but this is the 2023 wide receiver in single coverage graph, right? Minimum 150 routes. It's showing you down here separation, facing coverage, right? So the farther down the line, the more separation the wide receiver gets, right? And then going up, it shows you the rate against single the percentage of routes against single coverage. So the higher it goes up, the more that wide receiver goes against single coverage, right? So the higher it goes up, the more higher it goes, the more single coverage that wide receiver gets. Like Michael Gallup is up here. He gets the most single coverage out of all these wide receivers. Christian Watson is right here in the middle, literally in the back of my head, down here. So he gets the least amount of single coverage. Now, the amount of a wide receiver getting single coverage doesn't necessarily have to do with he can't handle single coverage, so they play a lot of single coverage, or he can handle single coverage, so they don't play enough single coverage because he's good at it. It could be that. It also could be the quarterback. Is the quarterback good at throwing against single coverage? Is the quarterback good against throwing zone coverage? So it doesn't necessarily mean that, but it just means how much that wide receiver sees a lot of single coverage. DeAndre Hopkins is back up here. He sees a lot of single coverage, more than all these other wide receivers. He sees a lot because, he's high, but he gets the least amount of separation. Terrace Marshall Jr. gets more separation in single coverage than DeAndre Hopkins. Now, I don't know how true that is, but when you look at the Bucs, you got Trey Palmer up here. Chris Godwin doesn't see any single coverage, barely sees any single coverage. and you got Trey Palmer up here. Both of them don't see a lot of single coverage, but they get maybe an average, a little bit more than average of separation when it comes to single coverage. You know where Mike is at? You know where Mike Evans is at? Mike Evans is all the way over here with separation in single coverage. So as you can see, our group of wide receivers don't get that much single coverage. There's a reason for that. One, because we got Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. You don't want to do single coverage with those two guys. That's one. And two, what have I been saying? Baker Mayfield, when it comes to fitting it in the zone, he's a lot more scared to throw it in the middle of a zone than to just find the single coverage and hit the open wide receiver. And then when you have a Mike Evans like this who's completely wide open more than anybody else in single coverage, Mike Evans is all the way by himself over here. That amount of separation in single coverage. That's the difference. That's just retarded. And I don't even remember why I was even talking about this or got into this, but yeah, the amount of single coverage for Mike Evans his separation is just different. It's different, as you can see in the league. But you know, I say things and people think that I'm BSing, and then the tape comes out and people don't even know what they're looking at, so they still don't understand what I'm saying. And it just comes to the point where people have to start understanding these things. Oh, that's why we were talking about it. So I basically figured out what was the problem and why people who are in love with Baker or feel like Baker's doing really good with the Bucs, I figured out what the disconnect is between people that are like, no, Baker's just doing mid. He's doing okay. He's not doing great. He looks like he's doing really good. And the other people that are saying, no, Baker is doing good. He should be our quarterback. The disconnect falls here. And this is what I tried to explain to Mr. Buck Nation and them over there. Our weapons are way better than people think. That's where the disconnect is. They look at Baker's stats and everything, and they don't understand that is not Baker. Those stats that Baker now bear in mind you do give Baker the credit for not throwing interceptions. You do give Baker the credit for, covering the ball and not turning over the ball. You have to give him credit for that. The problem is the only reason why he's doing that is because he's terrified to throw the ball. So where you have Jameis Winston, who is letting go of the ball and being a gunslinger, the problem is he's doing it too much, and there's too many times where he is just too confident and he's throwing the ball and putting the ball in harm's way too many times where he shouldn't have. And it's causing too many turnovers. And too many turnovers hurt the team. Baker Mayfield is the exact opposite. Baker Mayfield is covering up the ball and holding on to the ball and protecting the ball, which is great. Just like Jameis Winston lets go of that ball and slinging it, has arm talent and can throw it here, throw it there. That's great. But too much of anything is bad. And what's happening is he's covering up the ball too much. He's holding on to the ball too much. And he should be letting the ball go in different coverages and different things where it's like, that's not even a risky throw. Let go of the ball. But by the time he realizes it's not a risky throw, the window's closed. It's too late. And the problem with that is it slows down. It stutters our progression. We slow down the drive. It kills the drive sometimes. When the drive doesn't need to be killed. Third downs are not getting completed when it needs to be completed. And it should have been completed because the guy was open, but he held on to the ball a little too long. Because of that, we're not going down the field as much. Because we're not going down the field as much, we're not kicking as many field goals and getting as many touchdowns and having as many red zone opportunities as we should have. Because of that, we're not scoring as much as we should have. Now, again, not talking about last week because I think we did good enough. We should have did more, but we still did good enough. I believe the week before that was the Texans game, so obviously we scored enough in that game. So I'm not saying that happens every week, but when we were having that 3-game losing streak or 4-game losing streak, that was a big part of the problem. We weren't converting on third downs. He was holding on to the ball too long. He wasn't letting the ball go. He wasn't fitting the ball in NFL tight windows. And again, when I say NFL tight windows, that means they're not wide open, but they're open. That's NFL open. A good NFL quarterback should be able to be like, this is as open as it's going to get in the NFL and be able to throw that ball. But Baker's not. He's saying, no, I want it a little bit more open, and he's holding on to the ball. So that is the disconnect. People are not understanding that these stats that Baker has, like, even though I am saying that Baker's holding on to the ball too much and this and this and that, he still has good stats. And that's the argument that they come at me. Oh, well, look how many touchdowns he has to interceptions. Look how many yards he has. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. But do you not get that all those yak yards and all those yards that he's throwing to, any quarterback can get those yards because of our weapons? Because he has Mike Evans, difference. Look at this. Mike Evans over here, difference. Chris Godwin, another good wide receiver. These are 2 1,000-yard wide receivers. 2 legit number 1 wide receivers. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. If you don't think, there's a reason why when Mike Evans went out in the Saints game, Chris Godwin just took over like he was a number 1 wide receiver. Don't forget that. Mike Evans went out before halftime. Before halftime, Mike Evans went out, and Baker Mayfield just stood there and stood on Chris Godwin, and Chris Godwin won us the game because he ended up just becoming the number 1 wide receiver, and he balled out like he was a number 1 wide receiver. Don't get it twisted. Chris Godwin is a number 1 wide receiver. I was the one that said Chris Godwin could overtake Mike Evans, but then all of a sudden Mike Evans elevated his game, and we haven't seen Chris Godwin come close to Mike Evans. But don't get it twisted. Chris Godwin is up there. Chris Godwin is a number 1 wide receiver. The dude's a dog. And if we have to lose Mike Evans and stay with Chris Godwin can handle it. Trust me. And we got Trey Palmer, who's right there with Chris Godwin. Now, he ain't on Chris Godwin's level at all, but the man's explosive. He's dangerous down the field. Baker has weapons. Baker has, these are not no slouch weapons. How many people in the NFL have a Chris Godwin and a Mike Evans? Has 2 number 1 wide receivers. Ain't many. Ain't many. Remember there was a whole thing like when Brady was here, who's the best wide receiver duo? Jalen Waddle, Tyreek. Who else were they naming? Like Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb and all those T. Higgins and what's his name? And Jamar Chase, like all those other groups, they, CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper, they're not together no more. Jalen Waddle, Tyreek has stayed at a high level. Jalen's kind of came down. Jalen's kind of doing what Chris Godwin is doing, kind of, I think. What's the other one? Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. T. Higgins hasn't been healthy. So when Brady was here, they were arguing who's the top, 5 wide receiver duos. And those 2 were there. Let's not forget that. And now we added a Trey Palmer who was like Scotty Miller, but can route run better than Scotty Miller, a better hands than Scotty Miller. He may not be a bigger deep threat than Scotty Miller, but he's a better wide receiver all around than Scotty Miller. And we can do more with him than we could with Scotty Miller. And then you add all that, and Baker can also check the ball down to the best running back that's in space right now in the NFL, in Rachaad White. Let's not forget Rachaad White either. Let's not forget that Baker gets a lot of yards from Rachaad White and him just dumping it down and Rachaad taking nothing for 10 yards. Christian McCaffrey is the only running back receiving running back that has more yards than Rachaad White, and it's not by a lot right now. And we started actually letting Rachaad White catch the ball like 5 games into the season. That's when we started with Rachaad White, and he's already catching up to Christian McCaffrey. So you add all those weapons up, it's not hard to see why Baker has the weapons that Baker has the stats that Baker has. So if you want to say, yes, we can have this quarterback with Baker, he's going to protect the ball and he's not doing nothing. That's great. I get it. To have a quarterback to have these stats, and because of the weapons that we have, those stats are going to translate into some wins because of the weapons that we have. But I need a quarterback that can do these stats and put up these stats, not when we're just playing against a mediocre or a good defense. I need a quarterback that can do this against elite defense. I need a quarterback that can do this against playoff defenses, which is why it is important, because when we get into the playoffs, I want to have a shot. I don't just want to have a quarterback good enough to win us the division when the division's not bad. We sit here and stay with Baker Mayfield, and who knows, the Saints or the Falcons, or, I do feel like Panthers got their quarterback, but they just ain't got a team or a freaking coach staff, so they got bigger problems to figure out. But, the Saints or the Falcons, they get their quarterback. Now, all of a sudden, they got a top 10, top 15 quarterback. Like, they got a legit quarterback. Now we can't even win the division no more because our quarterback's not good enough. Like, our quarterback right now is good enough to win a division like it is right now. But when the division gets better, when the division has better quarterback play, then what? What are we going to do then? So I went on their channel and I was trying to explain. I didn't exactly get to explain like I'm explaining to you guys, obviously, because I'm tippity-typeting. But I say all that stuff, and people just got to understand, where we're at. I see some people in the comment section. We're going to get to the comment section right now. But let's go to one more thing that RTP said, because, again, I say a lot of things. People don't believe me. And then when I get proven right, people act like I still didn't say what I said. People act like I wasn't right. So the first thing I said in that video was we talked about me saying that Todd Bowles, is no more Mr. Nice Guy. Todd Bowles is calling people out. And the reason why I even brought up Mr. Buck Nation was because he had made a video after I made this video talking about is Todd Bowles throwing players under the bus. Now, I don't know if he made that video because he watched my video and he thought that that's what I was saying. I don't think so. I'm more than sure that, beat writers got together and started trying to push that narrative to try to make Todd Bowles look bad. And then Mr. Buck Nation probably wanted to see what the rest of the people thought. But let's not get confused. What I was saying in this video was not talking about Todd Bowles is mad or and it did come off like that because I watched the video again and I'm like, yeah, it did kind of come off like that. Like I was saying that Todd Bowles feels the pressure of maybe getting fired, so now he's throwing players under the bus now so he can like save himself. And that's not what Todd Bowles was doing. That's not what I was trying to say that Todd Bowles was doing. Even when I was saying that, when you heard me say Todd Bowles is probably saying, I'm not getting fired for you guys, that's him talking to the to the players. I'm not saying that the reason why he was doing what he was doing was because of he was feeling the fire and he's like, oh, I might get fired, so now I got to put it on the players and I got to, tell the players to do better. That's not what I was saying. Once again, coaching is like parenting. It's like parenting, right? How do I break this down? I'm a very strict parent when it comes to my daughter. I'm a very strict parent. But I don't overwhelm my daughter. So what happens is I'm very strict, and I'm like on her, and I'm letting her know, has to go like this, it has to go like this, it has to go like this. And I kind of get her to the brink to the edge, and of her like just breaking down, or her like, man, this is too tough or whatever. And then I let go and I'm like, all right, I've trained you to understand that this is the standard of what I want, right? Like with homework, I'm on her. A's, 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 do all your homework, study, study, study. And then I kind of like back off and I'm like, all right, you know the standard. I've been on you for like a month on your homework, and I've been on you with studying, and I've been on you with knowing, not only just doing your homework, but doing a little bit more just so you know you understand what you're doing. And like I'm on her tough, and then I back off, and then I watch her from a distance. And then I just, I don't say nothing, but I'm keeping an eye on her, but I'm letting her do her own thing, but I'm keeping an eye on her. And I watch her and I see, okay, let me see. I don't say nothing, but I'm watching. Is she doing her homework? Okay. She did her homework. I'm watching. She's doing her homework. Okay. Is she going to do a little bit more than her homework? Is she going to, okay. She's all right. She's doing a little bit more. She's staying with what I've been teaching her and the standard that I've set for her. I'm watching her from a distance and I'm letting her do it. And even sometimes I watch her from a distance and I'm like, oh, she just did her homework. She didn't do more than just her homework. Okay, but I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm gonna let her do that. I'm gonna let her do that. And then the next week, okay, oh, but this week, okay, she did her homework and she stepped up to the standard. Okay, good. Okay, and then the next week, okay, she stepped up to the standard. Okay, good. And then the next week, okay, she didn't do the standard. She just did her homework. Okay, I'm still watching. And then the next week, oh, again, she just did her homework. She's okay. And then the next week, oh, she just did her homework. Wait, what's going on? Now she's not staying up to the standard. And then the next week, she didn't even do all her homework. Wait a minute. Okay. And then the next week, and then it's like, then the report cards come out and it's like, hey, what's this B? Why do you have a B? Okay, guess what? Now it's time for no more than Mr. Nice Guy again. Now I got to re-put that standard down again. Now I got to show you again. And now you're going to get mad and you're going to cry and all this stuff. But guess what? If you would have stayed with the standard, I wouldn't have to come back and be Mr. Mean Guy again and have to, okay, what do you got to do now? Your homework. Now what? What else? Now I have to re-put the standard. And that's literally what Bose was talking about. That's literally what I was saying that Bose was doing. It wasn't that, oh, I feel the fire. Now I got to, it was Carlton. It wasn't me. Don't fire me. That's not what I was saying that he was doing. What I was saying was, okay, now you know what? This was pitiful. I can't sit back and just say, you guys are big boys. You know what to do. That don't show me you're big boys anymore. That don't show me that I could trust you anymore. That shows me we got to go back to the standard. We got to go back to the one-on-ones. We got to go back to day ones and start over again. And I got to treat you guys like you're rookies again. And that does not mean, oh, simplify the plays or anything like that. No. It just means now I got to be on your butt again. Now I got to sit down next to you and see what you're watching on film again. Now I got to make sure that you guys are talking. Now I got to that's all it is. It's going back to babying them and saying, hey, daddy's back. Got my belt out. What we doing? Who's the problem? What do I got to correct now? Y'all couldn't correct it by yourself. Now I'm here to make sure it gets corrected. And that's all that Todd Bowles did. That's what I meant by calling him out. Instead of watching from afar and saying, okay, I'm not going to say nothing. What Bowles was doing was, okay, I'll baby Ryan Neal. No, it wasn't him. No, it wasn't his fault. You don't know the coverage. That was him watching from afar, letting them trying to figure it out. And then when he said, nope, that was on Ryan Neal. Nope, that was on Carlton Davis. That was him saying, come here. Now I see you got a B grade out there. Now, obviously, that was worse than the B. But you get what I'm saying? No. Now I'm calling you out. No more Mr. Nice Guy. I'm letting you know I'm here now. Back to square one. Let's go. We're here. What do we got to do? That's all that was. So that happened. And let's see what RTP said in his crystal ball about what was going to happen in the Tennessee Titans game. We are playing, let me double check just to be sure. Yes, we are playing the Tennessee Titans. A rookie. No, is he a rookie or is this the second year? think it's the second year. Actually, no, I think he's a rookie. I don't know, Levis, whoever, he's youngster, whatever, young player. There is no doubt in my mind that after being called out, this defense is going to be on fire. Now, remember, you got a defense that's on fire now because Bo's about to put his foot up where the sun don't shine. These players are going to get called out. They're going to have to go out there and show out, and I truly believe that, against a young quarterback, and Todd Bowles is going to throw the kitchen sink. Because y'all playing with Todd Bowles' name, talking about you need to blitz more. You need to play man. Y'all playing with that man's name like he don't know what he's doing out there. Oh, he about to show out. He about to show out. So you got a team that everybody on the team is getting called out.
Mm-hmm.
And then we already know who's going to react. Maybe the offense, does their job. But I know the defense will. I know the defense will do their job. I have no doubt that the defense is going to go out there and show out. Now, that just leaves the offense. Yep. I said it. I told y'all. Defense was about to come out and show out. I told you Todd Bowles was going to be on fire. I told you Todd Bowles was going to just send it. Like, again, y'all was playing with his name. Y'all was acting like, oh, maybe you should. Todd Bowles knows what he's doing. And after that game, it was like, you know what? We're going back to the basics. I can't treat you like big boys. I can't put you out there in the island or not necessarily that, but I can't leave you guys out there in zone to go and make plays by yourselves. I gotta make you guys make plays. Okay, then we'll blitz more. I can't sit there and I can't sit there and just hope that you guys on the D line get to the quarterback. I can't rely on you guys to do your job and get to the quarterback and get pressure for the secondary. I can't allow the secondary to know what they're doing. Okay, you know what? Let's just make this an easy game. Let's send the blitz. Let's blitz a whole bunch. Like I can't rely on the D-line. Let's blitz a whole bunch. Like I can't rely on the secondary, and just do what I know I had to do when I first came here with the Bucs, because I didn't know if I could rely on the secondary. I didn't know if I could rely on Carlton Davis. I didn't know if I could rely on Jamel Dean and Whitehead and you know what I'm saying? All those players that we didn't know if we can rely on them. Todd Bowles has gotten confidence in them now and knows we can rely on them. That's why he's so mad that Carlton Davis let happen what happened, because it's something that we've been done for years now. Something that Carlton Davis gone through for years now. They didn't show us anything special. They didn't do anything crazy. That was us just being lazy. That was us just like being dumb. So, all right, you guys want to act like I can't trust you guys no more? All right, then I'll make the defense myself. Before, I was counting on you guys to do your job and for you guys to make the defense. But since y'all want to act like you don't want to do your job, then I'll force the defense to make itself. I'll just call plays that'll make the defense be good, since y'all don't want to be the reason the defense is good. That's what we saw. That's what happened. Clickety clack, White in the building. Is my I forgot. I was like wondering. Oh no, it is plugged in. I don't know why my internet's acting so funny. So yeah. It's just, and again, the reason why I bring all this up, man, is because even now, none of the Bucs content creators is talking about. They have no idea. Like, they're lost. NY Phenom in the building. What it do, peeps? NY Phenom says, why you despise Bucks QBs. You always had smoke for Brady, and now you hate Baker. Like, what the f? I didn't have smoke for Brady. He just wasn't able to play quarterback anymore. And again, it's not Bucks QBs, bro. Like, I've never had a problem with Mike Glennon. I've never had a problem with Jameis Winston. I've never had a, like, when I would say what I said about those quarterbacks that I just named, Fitzpatrick, I never had a problem. It's only when I talk about a quarterback that for some reason people love for no reason. Like Brady, obviously, I know why people love him. But when I'm sitting there and tell you the man can't throw down the field, it's a problem. People get mad. Like, I'm just telling you what I'm seeing on tape. He can't throw down the field, and he can't do it consistently. His arm is gone. He can't consistently be accurate. His arm is gone. People got mad. It's not like I said that the whole time. I only said it the last year he was here because that's what it was. And now I'm telling you what's going on with Baker. I'm not saying that Baker's playing bad. Like, I'm happy with Baker. And here's the thing that I've been trying to tell people on Twitter. I don't have a problem with Baker. If Baker finishes out the season, I'm fine. I don't care. I'm not mad about that. Like, the only problem I have, there's only two problems I have with Baker being my quarterback. One, if he plays too bad, because again, we had a 3-4 game losing streak. And in that 4-game losing streak, Baker was the biggest problem, besides the defense in that last game. Besides the defense in that last game, those other games, Baker and that offense was the problem. Baker was the biggest problem. So my first problem is with having Baker is if Baker plays bad enough to get my head coach, Coach Bowles, fired. That's a problem I do not want to deal with. That is a problem if it happens. The second thing about Baker is I don't want people thinking he's coming back next year. I do not want to sign him for next year. That's it. Those are my only real problems with Baker. He better not play bad enough to get my head coach fired. And I do not want people trying to bring him back for next year. Those are my only problems. When you talk about this year, I'm fine with the season, the way it is, the division, and what we're doing what we're doing as a team this year with not doing contracts and not trying to make the team the best it can be because we're trying to get rid of bad contracts and then we're going to redo our contracts and stuff like that. I get it. I understand. Baker is fine for this year. We could probably even win the division this year. I'm fine with that. But next year, when we start handing out paper and we start handing out contracts and we start building the team to be contenders, I do not need Baker to be my quarterback. Baker is not good enough. When we start trying to cause problems in the playoffs, I do not need Baker to be my quarterback. He will not help us in the playoffs. He's not good enough. He's not. When it's time to win championships, Baker is not good enough to be the quarterback. Now, when I say be contenders, the reason why I can say Baker's not good enough now is because right now I feel like we are contenders right now. The only reason why I don't call this a contending season is because we don't have a depth. We don't have the depth. When I consider my team a contender, that means this is the year we're contending for a Super Bowl. This is a year that I see us being in the playoffs, and we're a team that we have to worry about. Full throttle, all healthy, yeah, we could be that team this year if we were all healthy. But we don't have any depth. That one injury here, one injury there, it's going to be a problem. So that's why I don't even look at this year that way. That's why I'm just like, because what's the chances that we hit the playoffs completely healthy? Like, the chances are low. So I don't look at it that way. That's why when I say contending and I'm talking about next year, I mean that we got contracts where we got depth now. We got players that are behind that can step up and maybe not be a starter, but still play at a high level. You know? So there's still things we got to do better when we're talking about contracts and we're talking about getting depth and stuff like that. And when we do all that, I don't want Baker Mayfield to be a part of that contracts, to be a part of, well, we can't pay this guy because of Baker Mayfield. No, no, no. Even if it's a team friendly deal, no. Because when we get in the playoffs, my quarterback needs to elevate to another level. I don't need a quarterback where we're sitting here saying, oh, but this got to be perfect for him. But they got to help him out. But the OC has to help him out. But this guy got to help him out and make my quarterback better. Stop looking for all these excuses and all these different pieces and all these different things to help out the quarterback. Dave Canellis should make it easier for it. It should be the other way around. I'd rather have one piece, which is the quarterback position, that makes it easier for everything else. I want Mahomes, who makes it easier for the crappy receivers, makes it easier for anybody to play call, makes it easier for the O-line because he gets the ball out fast. Give me a quarterback that makes it easier for everybody else. I don't need a quarterback that makes it harder for everybody else because everybody else has to make it easier for him. I don't need that at the quarterback position. I need a quarterback that's going to make it easier for everybody else, not put more burden on everybody else. Mike Evans got to get better. Chris Godwin got to be better. They're already top notch. He needs to have a run game. The O-line needs to freaking protect for forever. We already have the best passing O-line that we've had in years. But no, it needs to be even better. Dave Canellis is calling great plays that have people open constantly. But no, he has to call plays that make it easier for Baker. Why? All these things need to be easier. No, give me a quarterback that makes it easier for everybody else. Michael Williams in the building. Y'all losing Sunday, 0 shot to win, so maybe you might get your wish for a quarterback. We're off that, Michael. We're off that, but I'm glad you brought it up. I don't know if you're still here, but I'm glad you brought that up, Michael. But we're off that, and thank you for reminding me. So I said it last week. I said that at the end of the game last week. I said that that we are off that whole, Baker Mayfield needs to lose so Kyle Trask can come in. We're too far. We're too far in the season. I know my head coach. Unless that man has an atrocious game where he threw 3 interceptions and it cost us the game. Unless he has an atrocious, which let's be honest, it definitely could happen against the Niners. We could have a very bad offensive game against the Niners. But as far as, man, I hope we lose this game, because if we lose this game and then we lose the other game, then Kyle Trask might be able to come in. We're past that. We're too far into the season now. We were at the peak. We were in the middle of the season on a 4-game losing streak. If we would have continued with that, I would have stayed on that train of let's continue to lose and hopefully we put in Kyle Trask. But since we won now, and we won with Baker playing pretty good, and he played pretty good in the other game before that we lost, that train has sailed. That boat has sailed. It's gone. We can't afford to lose enough games now to bench Baker. It would just have to be one really bad game, for us to because now I'm going for the division, right? We're here. We're in the middle of the season. We're already here. Like I said earlier, like I said all these other weeks, nobody in the division, the Falcons, the Saints, none of them are running away with the division. They're all trash. So we're in the middle of the season. Baker basically reset his, bench me meter. So you know what? Let's ride with Baker and let's just win this division. And let's get out of here. Let's get out of this season, win the division, lose in the first round or whatever it is. Get out of here, save my head coach's job, and let's go get our quarterback, and then let's get serious. Let's get serious. But as far as this season, we're already in the middle of the season. Baker just won a game. He reset his bench me meter. Let's run. We're going to roll with Baker. Let's hope he wins as many games as he can so he can win the division, and let's go get our quarterback for next year. So we're no longer on the hopefully he loses so we could put in Kyle Trask. Now If Kyle Trask goes in there, it's for, another reason. We're not going to talk about that because I don't wish that upon my players. I don't care if I like them or don't like them. So if we see the Magic Man, it'll be because of something else, not because of, bad performance. Unless he performs really, really bad, which could happen in this game. But after that, I don't see him performing really bad against the rest of this is the last hard game we have. Everybody else we should be able to beat. Now, that doesn't mean that we'll go undefeated after the 49ers game, but pretty much we should be able to beat everybody else. We might drop one other game, but that should be it. Unless Baker digresses to what we saw in those 3-game losing streak, I should say, which can happen. And let's now get into that. Millie in the building. Taze say, bro, we won. LMAO. I don't know why. And would have won against Houston if the D held. I agree. I don't care about the stats. Red Swarm in the building. Good Saturday morning, RTP. Great show, my brother. What is your view of what Todd Bowles will do against the 49ers tomorrow? We're going to get into that. NY Phenom, much love, though. Baker was completely capable of winning the AFC chip 2020. That no call on the targeting touchback. They would have beat the Bills, and had they got past that Chiefs game. Now, let me say this, Tay. I don't know if you're right about that. Hopefully you're still here. But I don't know if you're right about that. But let me tell you this, Tay. If we had that Baker, I might not be complaining. I might not be complaining about Baker right now. And here's the kicker, Tay. I'm not saying that Baker is trash, right? I'm not saying that Baker is bad. Baker is trash. I'm saying that the Baker that we got is not good enough. The Baker that we got is not good enough. The Baker that you might be talking about, the Cleveland Baker, he might be good enough. He might be good enough for us. Now, you're probably saying, RTP, how does that make sense? He has better stats with the Bucs than what he had with the Browns. I understand that. Here's what I'm talking about. With the Cleveland Brown Baker, he's actually letting go of the ball. He actually looked like he had some confidence when he threw the ball, like he thought he was a quarterback, an NFL quarterback. The Baker with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers don't look like that. The Baker with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers looks like a quarterback that's just trying not to lose his job. Let that sink in. Let that make sense. And then maybe you'll understand what the problem I have with Baker. It's not that I don't think he's capable with this team, because I think the old Baker is capable with this team. I think he could have really good stats, but I think he's holding back because he's scared of throwing interceptions. He's scared of losing games. He's scared of losing his job. And because of that, he's holding on to the ball too much. At one point, it's okay and it's good because he's not throwing interceptions. But at another point, it's too much because he's leaving too much on the field. He's missing routes because he's trying to perfectly throw the ball. He's missing third down conversions because he's too scared to throw the ball in the middle of the field or in between NFL windows. Where the old Cleveland Brown Baker Mayfield, he might have thrown a little bit more interceptions, but he would have fit a lot more balls. He would have had a lot more third downs in this system because he would have took a little bit more chances. And again, with the defense that we have, I'm okay with a little bit more interceptions. I'm okay. Give me a little bit more turnovers if that's going to give me a little bit more third down conversions, a little bit more red zone attempts, a little bit more field goal attempts. I will take it because right now we are not getting as many turnovers, but we're still getting 3 and outs. We're still getting possessions where we're not even in field goal range and we're not converting third downs. So I rather take all the third downs we don't convert, all the 3 and outs, all those that we have, right? Cut them in half and this half turns into more turnovers and interceptions, but this half turns into half of it more conversions, more red zone attempts, more field goal attempts. That equals more points. With the defense that we have, I'll take a little bit more turnovers if that gives us more red zone attempts and more field goal attempts, because that means we get more points. This defense that we have can take care of a quarterback that turns over the ball a little bit more, as long as we're getting more points. And that's the problem. That's the problem. So when I sit here and say we can't do nothing with this Baker, it's our Baker, the Baker that the Bucs have. The Baker that the Panthers had, the Bakers that Cleveland had, he took more chances. He tried to be a quarterback. The Baker that we have, he's trying not to lose his job. He's trying to just, hey, I know if it's not wide open, I'm not throwing it. Mike Evans gets wide open a lot. And then I got Rashad. He'll make something happen. And if it's not, my first read is not there, then I'm either trying to run or try to wait for someone to get wide open. That Baker is way too conservative. We just need that conservative Baker that we have to dial it down a little bit with the conservativeness and take some shots. And it's not even taking shots. It's fit it, bro. Trust your eyes. Trust your pre-snap. It's open. Throw it in there. Fit it in that window. And he has to be more accurate. Let's just be honest. He has to be more accurate, man. Missing too many throws down the field, missing too many corner routes, simple corner routes. He just got to be more accurate. It really is. It's what it comes down to as well. He's just got to be accurate, because that's frustrating when we're not converting because he's not accurate. Like, come on, man. Like the whole taking forever to run with the ball that I know Kyle Trask would do better at. I that's fine. Okay, I'll live with that. The whole taking forever to, let go of the ball and throw it at somebody. I can't. We got to do better there. We got to do better there. We can't. So with that said, right, we got Gregory Mack in the building. Baker got heart. Yes, I agree. Baker has heart. I get it. Baker has heart. But you know what else I have seen? Go back and watch the Eagles game. The Eagles preseason. I'm sorry. It's not the Eagles game. The Jets. I don't know why I always think it's the Eagles. Go back and watch the Jets game in preseason with Kyle Trask. You'll see more emotion from Kyle Trask in that game than you'll see that we've gotten from Baker. Think about that. The only time we see any emotion from Baker is when he picks up a big first down run. That's the only time you'll see emotions from Baker. Kyle Trask, you'll see more emotions in Kyle Trask game in preseason than you have seen from Baker. Think about that. We saw Kyle Trask get emotional and heated when he got a first down, when he makes a big pass, when he misses a pass, when the team themselves mess up. You see more aggression and more being mad from Kyle Trask. You see more emotion from Kyle Trask. And it's funny because everything that they love about Baker, you actually see more from Kyle Trask. Running with the ball, Kyle Trask does it better. Kyle Trask does it faster. Emotions, Kyle Trask is more emotional. It factor, everything. Kyle Trask does everything quarterback-wise better than Baker, and everything not quarterback-wise, besides being vocal to the media, he's vocal to the team. Watch Kyle Trask in the huddle. Watch Kyle Trask on the sideline. He's vocal to the team. He's not that vocal to the team towards the media or in front of the camera, but he's vocal in that huddle for sure. So I find that funny. But let me get to some of these, and then we're going to start talking about the Niner game. Cali Bucks in the building. I agree, but I believe tomorrow will be different. Mayfield is going to see a nasty pass rush tomorrow. He's not having the chance to hold on to the ball. I agree. Abraham in the building. Baker is inconsistent, not the long-term answer. Let Kyle Trask play him a chance. Now, we'll see what happens with Kyle Trask, but let's get a little bit into the 49ers game, right? A little bit what Cali Bucks was saying. which is true. Um, First off, I don't know what we're going to get out of this defense, right? You just saw me play a video that I told you exactly what our defense was going to do, exactly how Todd Bowles was going to attack the defense or be aggressive or whatever. You just saw me show you a video that I told you exactly what the defense and what Todd Bowles was going to do and how they were going to react and bounce back. This game, I can't tell you because I don't know what Todd Bowles is going to do. I don't know how we're going to how aggressive we're going to be against this team. This is a team and a scheme offensively that has been a problem for us. We know this team and this scheme and the Rams team and the Rams scheme. Now, we got Dave Canellis, right? And when we got Dave Canellis, the number one thing that I thought about was, man, hopefully Dave Canellis can teach us some things about that scheme because we kind of run the same scheme, but differently. We kind of run similar schemes that Kyle Shanahan and the Rams run. It's more Rams than the Niners and Kyle Shanahan. It's more Rams than anything. So it should really help us with the Rams. We should be better at going against the Rams. But maybe it can help us against the 49ers because they kind of run some things too. And they might not run it the same way, but they got the same type of philosophy, the same type of mindset when it comes to window dressing and stuff like that, the motioning and all that stuff. Those are things that Dave Canellis could have helped Todd Bowles in saying, hey, this is why they do that. This is what they're trying to do when they do this. Maybe that helps Todd Bowles. So I have no idea how we're going to come out against the 49ers. Now, if you ask me, this is what I would do with the 49ers. The same thing we did with the Texans. Blitz, 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 for a lot of reasons. One, I forgot to mention, there's a reason why we didn't see the game that we went against the Titans than we do against a lot of other teams, right? Todd Bowles said this, and I know for a fact a lot of Buccaneer content creators didn't pick this up, and a lot of the reporters and journalists didn't pick this up because they don't know enough football. I'm going to just say it. They just don't know enough football to understand that what he just said was important, right? When people say, why don't we blitz? Why don't we play defense like this a lot? There's a difference. The reason why we were able to do that with the Titans. Now listen, Buck fans. The reason why we were able to do that with the Titans is because the Titans allow us to stay in base formation a lot. They're in base formation a lot, and they allow us to stay in base formation a lot. What is that? That's us staying in 3-4. We're able to stay in 3-4 formation a lot, which means that our linebackers and our inside linebackers, outside linebackers, defensive line, everybody's bunched up. When we're able to be bunched up like that, including the nickel, including the a safety or our corners being pressed up, when we're allowed to do that because they don't spread us out because they're in nickel, right? When teams are in nickel, you're able to spread us out. If you spread it wide, you're able to spread us out, which forces our linebackers, forces our nickel, forces our safety to show you, to exaggerate and show you that we're going to blitz, because we have to be out of position to show you that we're about to blitz. But if we're in base formation, if they're in base formation and allow us to stay in the 3-4 and allow us to stay in base formation, then we can be all huddled up right there at the line, and you don't know if we're going to blitz or not, because we can easily back out and jump right into position that we need to be in to cover, or we could just blitz. But when we're spread out and we're in nickel, we have to be completely out of coverage, completely out of position to either get a good blitz, or we have to stay in coverage and act like we're not blitzing and then blitz, but it's going to take us longer to get there because we're all the way out here spread out. Does that make sense, guys? That's not rocket science. It should be easy football 101. But that is why we were able to do that so much and be so effective against the Titans, because they stay in base formation. And it don't even necessarily have to be base formation. It's just if they're in, we can do this also if they're in 12 personnel, 13 personnel, which you see a lot of that with the Niners. As long as they're all bunched up at the line, we can be aggressive like that. And the Niners love to have formations where they're bunched up at the line. That's how they run the ball so good. So we can do that against the Niners. We can actually send a lot of blitz and be bunched up. Now, Kyle Shanahan could come out and spread us out because maybe that's their game plan. They know the weakness of the defense and be like, nah, I know what you want to do. We're not going to let you do that. I don't know. They might do that. I don't know. But I think it's possible. And I think we should do that. If it's possible, we should do it. If they allow us to, if they come out and let us do that, we need to blitz. And I don't care. And here's the thing. I don't care about Christian McCaffrey. I don't care about Debo. I don't care about none of their weapons scare me. Period. None of their weapons look like a mismatch to me. Maybe George Kittle. Maybe George Kittle. Because the only one really that can handle George Kittle is probably Levante, right? Everybody was all happy about Ryan Neal. Oh, Ryan Neal's not going to play. Oh, I'm sad. And they were like acting like they were happy that Ryan Neal's not playing. Ryan Neal can cover George Kittle. That was actually the biggest thing about Ryan Neal was he can cover George Kittle. He was with the Seahawks, and he did a good job covering George Kittle. So everyone happy that we don't got Ryan Neal, but in fact, this was probably the biggest game for Ryan Neal. The best game for having Ryan Neal would have been this game and putting him one-on-one on George Kittle. Besides that, Antoine Winfield is probably too small for George Kittle. I don't know if Devin might be fast enough for George Kittle, but I don't know if and big enough for George Kittle, but I don't know if he'll be able to handle George Kittle's route running. Levante's pretty much the only one that can handle George Kittle. Besides George Kittle, I don't care about nobody else on that team. Nobody else on that team scares me. And that's not to say that they're not good. I'm just saying they don't scare me. Everybody one-on-one, I'll take it. Jamel Dean Carlton Davis one-on-one, I'll take it. Christian McCaffrey with Devin White one-on-one, I'll take it. Christian McCaffrey with Antoine Winfield one-on-one, I'll take anybody else. I'll take the one-on-one matchup. It's their scheme that scares me. Their scheme is stupid good. And Kyle Shanahan knows how to call a game. Their scheme scares me. Their offense in general scares me. So if it's me, the game plan that I would have, blitz. Keep everybody one-on-one and send as many extra blitzers as you can. That's what I would do. And just get that ball out of Purdy's hands as fast as you can, bro. That's what I would do. So offensively, now let's talk about the offense. Niners starting left guard is out. Oh, okay. That's good. Let's talk about the offense because the offense, our offense, and I said it last week, right? I said it last week. Our offense is clicking right now, guys. Our offense is clicking right now. Now, I don't expect us to have the small run game that we've been having the last two games. We've had a decent small run game, guys. Like we've had a run game that's doing just enough to stay a little bit ahead of the chain or just not just make the drive a bad drive. We're doing just enough. I don't expect that to happen in this game. I would love it. If we do just enough in the run game here, then I would be like, hey, we got a small little run game. I'll be confident. I'll be more confident in it. But I don't expect us to have a run game at all. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But besides the run game, our offense has been clicking. Our offense has been legit. And again, I said this last week. It's not because of the points. We scored 30-something points 2 weeks ago. And I came away from that game after watching the All-22, and I said, yo, our offense is on another level right now. It's hitting another level. And it wasn't because of the 30-something points we scored. It was because of the execution and the play calling. Everybody has excelled. Our wide receivers look like, and I'm not talking about Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. I'm talking about Cade Otton. I'm talking about Tompkins. I'm talking about Trey Palmer. Everybody seems like they're starting to understand the system and how they're supposed to execute in the system. It looks like they're starting to understand how to take advantage of the play call that Dave Canellis is calling and how to work that system. O-line's doing better, even better in the run game since we put Stinney in. Running backs are running the ball just a little bit better, but Rachaad White has emerged as another weapon receiving wise. Dave Canellis has went to another level. And again, I've been the first one to crap on Dave Canellis. And this is what I try to tell everybody that's new here watching me. I'm very fair with my breakdowns. I'm very fair. If Todd Bowles messed up, I'm saying Todd Bowles messed up. And I've said it before. If Carlton Davis messed up, I've said Carlton Davis messed up. And I've done it before. Devin White, anybody. Dave Canellis, the quarterback, Jameis, and I don't care who it is on my team. If you're a problem, I'm calling you out. Dave Canellis was a problem as well as Baker. Dave Canellis has gotten so much better as a play caller, play design. He has been on another level. Watch the all 22 and you're like, open, great call. That shot down the field was open. Great call. Man, perfect call for that third down conversion. Whether we converted it or not, I don't know. That depended on Baker. But as far as the play call, perfect call. Good call. Like Dave Canellis has been stepping up there. Round of applause for Dave Canellis. Round of applause. Dave Canellis has been stepping it up. He has. When I said, and I was trying to find the video, maybe one of you guys know what video I said it in, but there was a video, I thought it was the letter to Dave Canellis, but I guess it wasn't because I watched that video and I didn't see it. But there was a video, it might have been a post game. There was a video where I literally told Dave Canellis what to do. And I told him we need some more, we don't do screens. We do bubble screens, but we don't do enough running back screens. We need at least 2 running back screens. No more than that, because then they'll be ready for it and they might pick it off. No more than 2 running back screens, but we need at least 2 running back screens a game. Sprinkled somewhere, and not on third downs, not on third and long. It could be on a third down, like a third and short or a third and mid, but not on third and longs, because that's when they're ready for it. Don't just waste your screenplays on a third and long. If it's third and long, just hand it off. Do a draw play, hand it off, see what we get from there. But we need at least 2 running back screenplays a game, somewhere in the game, and don't make it obvious. And he threw a running back screenplay, and we scored a touchdown. Everything I had asked Dave Canellis to do, he did it in last week's game, and it looked beautiful. It looked beautiful. So I want to talk about this offense, because this offense is clicking right now. We are offensively, we're dangerous right now, bro. Offensively, like we are ready to go. Like we're ready to contend right now, bro. We are ready to contend with this offense and this defense. We are literally ready to contend. The only thing is Baker. Baker is the only piece that has not stepped up his game. And again, I'm not saying that he sucks. He's not playing terrible right now. He's playing like He's playing meh. That's what he's playing. He needs to step his game up. I need to see him fit some throws. I need to see him be more accurate. He needs to be confident in his throws. He needs to be confident in his throws. We saw last week, I think it was the very first pass or the second pass. It was either the first or the second pass. It was a corner route, and he hit it. I was like, oh my God, he hit the corner route. Then a few plays later, he throws the interception and he lost his confidence. And then he tries the corner route again and he misses it. And I'm like, it seems like he went back into a shell. I don't know if he lost his confidence or if he just went back into a shell and was like, I'm just not going to, if it's not wide open, I'm not even trying. But like, he has to be confident in his throws. He got to get more accurate. I don't know if it's confidence. I don't know what it is. I think it's confidence. Whatever it is, he has to get better. He has to get more accurate. He has to step up. He has to step his gameplay up. Now, I will say this as well. Dave Canellis, and I've said this before, Dave Canellis is not good enough of an OC to help out Baker. Dave has to worry about the run game. He has to worry about the O-line. He has to worry about his wide receivers getting adjusted to the scheme. He has to worry about adjusting to the game. What is the defense doing against us? He has to worry about the game plan. He has to worry about so many things. he is not good enough right now to play call and help Baker at the same time. These last 2 games, I feel like he has. Now, I don't know. It could be a mistake. It could just be he's just calling plays and they're just plays that just happen to work. Or he could actually be helping Baker out. And this is why I say this. Baker, his problem is all he's doing is throwing to Mike Evans. And every once in a while, he'll throw to Chris Godwin. And every once in a while, when the play breaks down, he'll throw to Trey Palmer or he'll throw to Cade Otton. That's what happens. That is literally our offense. Oh, and checking the ball down to Rachaad White. And I truly believe when he checks the ball down to Rachaad White, he was going to do it from the beginning. I don't think it's his progression. No. Okay, let me check it down. I don't think that's happening. 80% of the time when he checks the ball down to Rachaad White, he was going to do it from the beginning of the play. Let me just hike. Let me just wait for these guys to go back because I think it's man. And let me just wait for them to turn their backs and just give enough space. And then I'm going to check the ball down to Rachaad White. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't mind that at all. What I'm saying is when it's not going through his progressions, nothing there, then check it down. That's when you see him leave plays and leave meat on the bone. Because when he's like, okay, I'm going to check it down to Rachaad White. I'm just going to act like I'm looking. Okay, check it down. And then Rachaad goes and gets 5 yards and 6 yards and 7 yards. Nothing wrong with that because that's a very productive play. So I don't mind that. But the problem is if it's only that, I wish that we had a quarterback that would go progression, nothing there. Man, they have everything locked up. Oh, wait, there's some meat on the bone still. My check down. Boom. Then he goes into, that's how you get all the meat from the bone, right? So that's our offense. It's always pre-snap. Okay, Mike Evans is going to be open. And if you don't think Mike Evans is going to be open, okay, let me see if Chris Godwin is going to get open. And boom, hikes it. And that's our offense. And then, like I said, every once in a while, that don't work out. Then it's like, okay, let me try to run around. Let me see if Trey Palmer's open. If I see Trey Palmer open, let me see if I see Cade Otton open. And I'm not saying he's doing all that. I'm saying it's one or the other. He'll be like, oh, there's Cade Otton. He'll throw to Cade Otton. Oh, he's running one way. He sees Trey Palmer running with him. Oh, he'll throw. Every once in a while, you'll get a little play like that, right? That needs to happen more, but every once in a while that happens. But to the most part, it's Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. That's okay. Obviously, it's only okay because these guys get open a lot, so it lets our offense actually flow. Here's where the Dave Canellis part comes in. It seems like Dave has, and I don't know if this is true or not. This is why I want to continue to watch, but I just want to put this out there so Buck fans can keep this in mind and see if they see it too, if they start seeing it too. It seems like Dave Canellis is starting to realize that and is putting his weapons in different situations. And if it's not that, then Dave Canellis needs to make sure that he understands that. And this is what I mean by that. People are saying like, oh, Dave Canellis is getting Mike Evans open because he's putting him in the slot. He's putting him in different places, right? That's half false. Mike Evans is not getting open because he's putting him in different places. Because no matter where Mike Evans goes, he's open most of the time. So it's not that Mike Evans is getting open because he's putting him in different places. This is what I hope. I can't confirm yet, but this is what I hope Dave Canellis is doing. I hope that Dave Canellis is putting Mike Evans and Chris Godwin in different positions because he needs Baker to attack different positions. Does that make sense? Follow me. If we just have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin on the outside, right? Or Mike Evans on the outside and Chris Godwin going in and out at slot here and there, whatever, right? Again, still can get open. They can still be open. But can Baker hit it, right? It might be a short window. Mike Evans might get double teamed. So he's still open. It's just a little bit of a window now because he's double teamed. But he's still open. You get what I'm saying? Chris Godwin, he's gonna get open. It's just gonna be a window there because they're in zone. Because again, we just checked the chart. They don't let our guys play man a lot. They don't play man on our weapons a lot. They play a lot of zone. And again, I think it's because, it's because of Baker. I'll show the chart one more time. This is all our weapons are down here in the bottom. Down here in the bottom. That means that we are one of the lowest teams that get played man on. Everybody else gets a lot of man because they're not that good. Their weapons are not that good. But our weapons, they get a lot of zone because they can't handle us man. So we're down here in the bottom in this chart. So Chris Godwin has to go through a lot of zones. Baker has to fit it in a lot of zones, stuff like that. And I think Dave Canellis might be figuring out all he's doing is looking at Mike and looking at Chris Godwin. In the beginning of the season, right? In the beginning of the season, I said it feels like Dave Canellis, like when we played the first 2 games, first 2 weeks, maybe the 3rd week, it felt like Dave Canellis was attacking everywhere, right? I said Dave Canellis doesn't give me a feel of, oh, we're doing this so we can do this. It feels like Dave Canellis is just digging like, okay, let's attack here. Okay, let's try this. Let's attack there. Okay, let's attack here. Okay, let's try this and let's attack here. Like, and that's good. That's good. You want to attack down the field, and then you want to attack in the middle of the field. Then you want to attack the side of the field. Then you want to attack on the other side of the field. Then you want to attack underneath. Then you want to attack all on top again. Like, you want to attack the different spots of the field. That way the defense doesn't like, oh, let's just stay on this defense because they're trying to attack this part of the field. You want to attack the different places. And it felt like Dave Canellis was doing that. Like, he was just picking different places to attack with different type of plays. Then it slowed down. Our offense just like it stopped. And what I think it was teams was just like, let's just play zone. Let's take away this. Baker hesitates to do this. And, as long as we focus on Mike Evans and focus on Chris Godwin, we pretty much just killed the offense. So now what Dave Canellis is doing is, okay, this is what I'm going to do. We're going to go back to attacking the different parts of the field, but we're going to attack with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. And the way that they're doing that is they're putting them in different positions. So, in other words, Mike Evans on the outside, right? Chris Godwin in the slot, and the play is for Trey Palmer to get open. Chris Godwin is going to do something, and Trey Palmer is going to come underneath and just be open or whatever. You know what I'm saying? The play is meant for Chris Godwin to pull the rest of the defense and get Chris Godwin open. Well, because we have Baker, he's watching Mike Evans because he feels comfortable throwing to Mike Evans. He's the biggest guy, one of the fastest guy, best hands. Well, not the best hands, but one of the best hands between him and Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin got the better hands, but he's a better radius, right? Better catch radius, bigger body, bigger target. So he feels the most confidence throwing to Mike Evans. Then he feels confident throwing to Chris Godwin. He don't feel confident throwing to Trey or anybody else. So he's always watching Mike Evans. When he's watching Mike Evans, he's missing the Trey Palmer play because he trusts Mike Evans to get open more than he's trusting Palmer to get open, even though the play is made to get Trey Palmer open. So what I think is happening is what Dave Canellis is saying, okay, since you can't stop trusting these guys so much, instead of putting Mike Evans on the one-on-one, because what most people like to do, they like to do the concept, which the concept was Chris Godwin and Trey Palmer, Chris Godwin getting Trey Palmer open. That's the concept. Then the other side is the matchup, which what's the biggest mismatch is Mike Evans versus anybody. So Mike Evans one-on-one is probably going to win. That's the best matchup. Baker is always looking towards the matchup because I'm going to take Mike Evans versus anybody. So I'm always going to look at the matchup first. So what it seems like Dave Canellis is doing is saying, okay, we're going to take away your matchups. We're going to give you those every once in a while because you have to let that happen. You can't let the defense know what you're doing. But when I'm calling a play where I want the concept to be the first read, not the matchup, instead of Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, Chris Godwin and Trey Palmer, where Chris Godwin is getting it open for Trey Palmer, and that's the concept. I'll put Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. So I'm forcing you to look at the matchup. I'm forcing you to look at the concept. Because if that was Trey Palmer, you wouldn't have looked at the concept. But since it's Mike Evans that I'm putting there, now you're looking at the concept instead of the one-on-one matchup. Does that make sense to you guys? I explained it very well. It's just I know a lot of people can't follow, but I explained it very well. So instead of it being Chris Godwin and Trey Palmer, and the number one read is supposed to be Trey Palmer because that's the concept, Chris Godwin's going to get it open for Trey Palmer. He doesn't trust Trey Palmer, so he's going to look at the one-on-one with Mike Evans. So Dave Canellis is noticing that and saying, I'm going to put Mike Evans instead of Trey Palmer and give you a concept with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. And then guess what? Then on another play, we'll switch it. The concept is made for Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. You know what I'm saying? We'll switch it. So now even though it's not your favorite wide receiver, Mike Evans, it's your second favorite wide receiver, Chris Godwin, that you got confidence in. And you're not even going to look at Mike Evans because that route is probably not going to be open because it's meant not to be open. That route that Mike Evans has is meant just to get Chris Godwin open or whatever the concept is. So they're forcing Baker to look over there and handle the concept. So that's what I think. I can't confirm, but I feel like that might be why the offense is clicking so well. I think Dave Canellis has figured that part out and trying to help Baker understand where to go with the ball better. Now, what I will say to Dave Canellis, because I love it, just make sure you switch it up enough because we still need to have Mike Evans by himself one-on-one. We still need to do that. But not only do we still need to have Mike Evans one-on-one by himself and then the concept over here with the other guys, we need to have Chris Godwin one-on-one by himself and then Mike Evans helping the concept or being the concept over here on the other side. We also need to have Trey Palmer over here one-on-one by himself and then having Chris Godwin and Mike Evans being the concept or being a part of the concept. We need to make sure that we continue to do that to keep the defense off balance. And not only that, we have to, and I saw somebody, it was one of these Twitter guys that I was like, this is why I don't like talking to this guy because he's stupid. It was like, I think it was either JC or it was one of them Twitter guys where I'm like, this just shows that you don't know what you're talking about when it comes to football. He said, we need to stop taking shots with Trey Palmer because we're not hitting them with Trey Palmer. Just take our shots with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. We're not hitting the shots with Trey Palmer. And I'm like, this guy doesn't know football. Because that's literally the opposite of what we need to do. We need to continue to take shots with Trey Palmer. Why is that? Because they need to continue to respect Trey Palmer. Plain and simple. They need to continue to respect when we send Trey Palmer by himself one-on-one, they need to respect that Trey Palmer taking the top off. So when we have him in a concept and we're using Trey Palmer to push the defense back and the concept is to throw underneath, they need to respect that Trey Palmer can take the top off. Well, they need to respect that we'll send anybody and we'll throw the ball to anybody down the field. That way they don't just keep their safeties and say, no matter what, safeties stay over the top of Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. I don't care whoever else looks like they're threatening over the top. Don't bite. Stay on Chris Godwin and stay on Mike Evans. If we don't throw over the top to Trey Palmer or Tompkins or anybody else, if we don't do that and take shots, whether we hit them or not, it doesn't matter. It's like the run game. Play action don't work just because you're running the ball good. Even if you're running the ball bad, play action still works. It's the attempt that matters. As long as we're attempting to throw over the top and we got Tompkins or Trey Palmer over the top and they're beating their guy or whatever, as long as we continue to give them the threat of that, they cannot do that. So when we do concepts with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, and it's a simple concept where Chris Godwin moves the defense and Mike Evans goes underneath, we can continue to do that because they have to respect whoever we put one-on-one over there by themselves. Trey Palmer, Tompkins, whoever we're putting somewhere else that's trying to move that safety to keep the safety from make the safety continue to go back so we can hit the underneath routes. If we don't make them respect that, then when we have the Chris Godwin and Mike Evans concept, or the Mike Evans and Chris Godwin concept, they don't have to respect the concept because they're just going to play them like they're not even in a concept. They're just forget everybody else. Forget the one-on-one with Trey Palmer. I don't care about the one-on-one with Devin Tompkins. They don't concern me because they're not going to take the top off. So we don't need to give safety help over there. They're not going to take no shots with those guys. We don't need to give them safety help. We can leave them one-on-one and we can keep the safety help with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, whether they're in the middle of the field, whether they're in the slot, whether wherever they're at, we can keep a safety over the top. And now we're killing their concepts because the corners that we have can jump anything underneath because we still got safeties over the top helping them, whether they're in the slot or the outside, it doesn't matter. That's why you have to continue to take shots with different players no matter what. And again, I don't know if Dave Canellis understands that, but it seems like it so far. It seems like it so far. And as long as we stay in that mind frame and we stay attacking the defense in different ways and putting Mike Evans here and putting Mike Evans there and putting Chris Godwin and just basically switching these weapons. No more your X, your Y. No more of that. Hey, your X, your Y, your Z, your this, your that, blah, blah, blah. Just keep everybody switching roles. And that was the whole point of the offseason. If you remember Dave Canella saying that, everybody needs to be able to do each other's job. When we talk about the wide receiver, every wide receiver needs to be able to do a reverse. Every wide receiver needs to be able to do screens, bubble screens, be able to catch slants. Every wide receiver has to be able to do the same thing, take the top off. So they don't know what we're going to do with who, how, when, all that stuff. So with that said, man, again, we're in the team itself is in a good place right now. Like this is a good, like this might be our best. This literally is our best shot at the Niners. Like the whole season, we're in the best spot that we've been. If even when we won 2 games, right? And we played the Eagles, I think it was. We weren't in the best spot. We were still trying to figure out offensively with Dave Canellis. We were still trying to, get better running the ball. And we were still really, really, really bad. And we're bad still with the run concept and the blocking, but we're not as bad as we were in the beginning of the week, beginning of the year. We're a little, just a tiny bit better now. Still dog doo-doo, but we're a little bit better than what we were before. But we're basically at the best spot that we've been as a team, because defensively we just got called out and we just had a really good game and we were very aggressive, and we were back to, forget the defense is back to forget what the offense is doing. We got to do what we got to do, because we were starting to fall into that. Why ball out, bro? The offense is not doing nothing. We were starting to fall into that, which is why we led into these games, these defensive games we were having. But we had such a bad game and we got such a smack in the butt that we woke up and was like, nope, we're not looking bad like that no more. I don't care what the offense is doing. We got to make sure we're not looking bad like that no more. From the coaching staff to the players, we all woke up. So the defense is going to be at its best right now as far as mentality-wise. We're going to be at our best right now. And the offense is clicking at the highest it's ever clicked the whole season. Let's talk about the levels that our offense can be at. I think Dave Canellis got one level left to reach. I think Baker has 2 levels still to reach. Dave needs one more level left to reach. And that just has to do with the run game. We just have to fix that run game to be better. Once we fix the run game and we're better at the run game, then we're at full momentum with our offense. Full momentum with our offense. Full momentum with our offensive coordinator. Our offense cannot be at full momentum unless, one, the run game gets better and we start getting better at running the ball. We don't have to be the greatest. We just have to be respectable as a run game. And 2, Baker has to level up. Baker has 2 levels himself that he has to get at. First level is just the accuracy. He has to be more accurate. He has to be more accurate. Whether we're talking about throwing down the field for the touchdown, home run hits, or whether we're talking about just simple corner routes, he has to get more accurate. That's one level that'll make him go up a level. And I think that level can be obtainable. He is a NFL quarterback. And that's the thing. Again, Cleveland Baker was a Baker Mayfield. He wasn't a Baker Mayfield where I was like, oh, he lucky he made that throw. I never felt like that with Baker before, where it was like, oh, he's probably going to miss that throw. Oh, he missed him. No, he was a regular quarterback. This makes me think it's a confidence thing because now it's like, bro, he can't hit that throw. Throwing down the field, either misses them, short, under changes them, throws it too short. Like he's not hitting nobody on stride over the top. It's rare. Like these are things that I never really looked at when he was with Cleveland Browns. So this got to be a confidence thing. But that's one level that I think he can make. I think he can do that. And if he gets to that level where he's more accurate, we could probably be a problem in the playoffs. Maybe that depends on level number 2. Letting go of the ball. Being able to hit in the zones, these tighter window throws. He has to get to that level. And when he gets to that full level, I still don't think he'll be a top 10 quarterback. But to be honest, I mean, there's not that many good quarterbacks out here. I wouldn't look past it, him being a top 10 quarterback with these weapons. If he can reach to that level, I just don't think he can. So we'll see what it happens to do with him. But this is the best team that we could have going into this game against the Niners. I honestly, I have no idea how this game is going. I usually come on here and be like, I can see this game going like this. I can see this game going like that. I can see this game going like that. And when I say that, it's because I can see it. I can see us shutting them down. I can see them whipping our butts. I can see it all happening. With this game, I can't see anything. I just don't know. It's a big question mark for me. I don't know how our defense is going to look against their offense. I don't know how our offense is going to look against their deep. Well, I ain't gonna lie. I do feel like we're not gonna do too good against their defense. I do. I feel like they're gonna put tight windows against Baker, and Baker's gonna struggle. But I can also see Baker having a performance like the Titans game. So I can see those two things. But as far as our defense versus their offense, I have no idea how that's gonna look. I have no idea how that's gonna look at all. I don't. Like, I don't have a vision. I don't have a thought in my mind. Like, I have thoughts in my mind of us blitzing and hitting their quarterback, but I also have thoughts in my mind of them hitting us over the top. So I really don't know what to look at when it comes to this game. I don't know how this game is going to play out at all. Red Swarm says, RTP, I really hope you get your wish to see Kyle Trash in real NFL games and not just a preseason game. Only then will you see what the SEC football viewers already know about Kyle Trash. Again, when people try to bring in this whole college thing with Kyle Trask, it doesn't make sense to me because the man was a finalist in the Heisman Trophy winner, just purely off of his arm. Like, it don't make sense to think that he's not good because of what you saw in college. That don't make sense to me because he was a Heisman Trophy winner in college. I mean, a Heisman Trophy finalist in college. So why would you bring up college to act like we know he's not good because of college? It don't make sense. He's a Heisman Trophy finalist in college. I don't understand that. But ignoring that part, yes, I hope I get to see what Kyle Trask is as well. I will say this. Whatever it is, I hope it's a good amount. Whether we're talking about games, I hope it's like give me at least 3 games. I won't be happy with 3 games. I won't be happy with 2 games. But at least with 2 games, if he played bad, I'll say, okay, at least I saw 2 games of him playing bad. I personally wouldn't be like, oh, He's a bust off of 2 games or 3 games. I personally wouldn't do it, but at least give me that where I can say, at least I saw 2 games where I can say, well, it was probably going to continue to look like that. That's one. Number 2, when I talk about give me enough in a game, if it's just 1 game, at least give me like, let's say something happens to Baker, and Kyle comes in for only 1 game. Let me at least get a whole half. If it's anything less than a half, I don't care if he threw 3 interceptions. I'm not counting it. I don't care. I don't care. If he didn't come in before halftime, I'm not counting it. Plain and simple. I am not counting it. It doesn't matter because there's too many reasons why it could be bad. It could be a bad game plan. It could be a bad what's the word I'm looking for? When they changed the game plan, they had a game plan and now they changed it. It could have been a bad change of a game plan. Like it could be a lot of things. It could be any injuries. It could be the game was already way out of hand. It could be a lot of things. I'm not counting the game. For me to see a game and be like, okay, I got a little something, something. Now I don't believe that's what he is, but at least I got a little something, something. It got to be at least 3 quarters. I got to have at least more than a half, at least more than 2 quarters. It could be a little bit of the 3rd quarter, and then we go into the half. Then he has the second half. That'll be like, okay, that's 1 game. That'll count as 1 game. But if Baker, and this is what I was afraid of, and I say that because this is actually what I was afraid of last week when Baker hit his thumb, and I was like, oh crap! And now they're gonna bring in Kyle Trask in the last quarter, and he's probably gonna struggle the first couple of possessions or whatever. Like that's what I didn't want. I didn't want that to happen. So I'm glad you made me remember that, so I can put that on wax. So no one could come in and say, oh, well, you saw Kyle Trask and look at how he looked. You were wrong. And then I'll go, no, check the tape. This is exactly what I didn't want to happen because I don't think that's enough possessions or whatever. So, yeah, if I see Kyle Trask, I need to have a couple of quarters, bro. I can't just be 2 quarters. You know what I'm saying? Give me a couple of quarters, bro. And then I can say, okay, that was 1 game. That doesn't mean I believe that that's what he is. I mean, he had to get used to it. And again, even if it happens in this game, it's like, oh, yeah, I mean, I was afraid the first game was going to be against the 49ers. If Baker's thumb wasn't good, his first game was going to be against the 49ers. Yeah, that would have sucked. You know what I'm saying? So stuff like that. Everything matters. I don't want people coming in here and the context of it, but you want to act like, oh, we're going to ignore the context and just say he's trash because this was his numbers. But Mike Evans wasn't playing, and you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, when we do things, we keep things in context. Cali Buck says Winfield, Vita, and Wirfs didn't play last year. Dean was knocked out of the game. I want to see how we do with those guys on the field. Yep, yep, you're right about that. Red Swarm says yada yada yada. You aren't saying much by disrespecting the 49ers weapons. I see the 49ers beating y'all by at least 17 points in a blowout. I'm not disrespecting the weapons at all. I just don't think that they're I just don't think I think you put Debo and Ayuk, I think you put these weapons in other teams and I just don't think it's the same thing. I think it's the system. The system, I mean, they're dangerous weapons because of the system. They're dangerous. I am saying they're dangerous, but it's because of the system. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just the system gets them open. The system gets them in space. Like they're dangerous. Don't get me wrong. It's just I just think it's more of the system than anything. Zach in the building. Wow. Zach with the Fire Bowls profile pic. Okay, I see you, Zach. I'm just here what I miss. I just got here what I miss. A lot. I don't know how long. 9:27. Oh, so you've been here for a little longer than half an hour. Not much. Just RTP usual, being delusional with how he sees things. Hey, Red Swarm. Like I said, bro, I started this stream, just showing how delusional I was by being 100% right, like I pretty much am most of the time. So, Tampa Bay Rays in the building. Houston game. Canellis adjusted. I can't say yes or no because again, he looked good in the Texans game. The offense looked good in the Texans game. So, and the only other thing that I'm worried about, Tampa Bay Rays fan, is that this is all coming off of whether you talk about the Texans game or whether you talk about the Titans game, right? Because those are two games where we're like, man, Dave Canellis has been on point. It also has been two games where the run game has done the bare minimum, basically. The run game has done bare minimum. So I think the run game is going to be a problem in this game. And when I say a problem, that means when we run the ball, it's going to hurt us more than help us in this game. The run game in last week and the week before that has done the bare minimum of helping us. It wasn't like big and was great for us, but it didn't hurt us either. It just did the bare minimum to help us keep the chain ahead a little bit. In this game, the run game is going to hurt us. So I say that to say this. Has Dave Canellis' play calling and everything gone smooth because the run game has been able to do the bare minimum of helping us? And if so, does that mean that Dave Canellis' play calling is going to be bad when we go back to our run game hurting us and now he runs the ball again because he's being stubborn again? You know what I'm saying? Trying to run the ball and now hurting us again. We'll see if we go back to that. Or let's see if he truly moved forward and he's truly just understood what he needs to do for this team as the game goes. We'll see. They'll answer some questions. Second royalty in the building. Sounds like you want them to play conservative. Who? I don't want nobody to play conservative. Last win versus San Francisco is 2016. Man. Baker isn't that type of quarterback, RTP. We aren't that good. We looked average against the Titans, LOL. I don't think we looked average at all. I don't think we looked average at all against the Titans. I don't think the offense looked average. I don't think anybody looked, again, we can say that Baker did average. And when I say that, I mean like he didn't do anything special. But as an offense, as the quarterback and as the offense was gelling. The offense didn't look average at all. Defense didn't look average. Offense didn't look average. Our offensive line is terrible. We only have time for one to read a play. I don't blame Baker for that, LOL. Then you just don't know what you're watching because that's a lie. Our offensive line is the best offensive line that we've had in a long time. It's better than what Brady had. Our offensive line right now is better than what Brady had. Pass protection. Let me get that straight. Pass protection. Brady never had tackles like Baker has right now. Tristan and Gadecki. Oh, inside the guards in the center. I mean, Baker had the center. I mean, Tom had the same center. You know what I'm saying? And like there's no way. There's no way. You just don't know what you're talking. You don't know what you're watching if that's what you think. Buck Crazy in the building. Skull Gang in the building. You know what time it is. Buck Crazy. Skull Gang! Tampa Bay Rays fan says, and a little here and there on the Tompkins reverse for 8 yards. Yep. Exactly. Bucks, Rays, Bulls. What's up, my brother? RTP, I gotta tell you and all Buck fans that although I disagree with much of what you see in your team as a rival NFC South fan, my beloved Falcons, I have big respect for all the work that RTP does. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Big respect to you, RTP, my brother. Yep. It's for the passion of the team, man. That's all I don't do it for no clout. I don't do it for nothing else. I don't do it for views. I dang sure don't do it for views. It's for the passion of the team and to help the team. As much as it might be the biggest delusion that I have, and I'll be honest with you, Red. The biggest delusion that I have and that I do daily is believing that the team actually watches what I say. Because that's why I do it. In hopes that Dave Canellis takes some of my advice, that some of these players actually come across my channel and go, you know what? We have a real fan here that's not just hating on just to hate. He's actually watching tape. He's actually seeing what the problem is. I appreciate that. Actually trying to take some of my advice that I give. That's the biggest delusion that I have on this channel. That's my biggest part of me being delusional, is actually thinking that maybe someday one of them might see this or take some advice, and that's why I do it, just for the chance of maybe someday they see it and it helps them in a game or something, whether it's the coach, the GM. And I truly do believe that Jason Light, I mean, me and Jason Light are like this, bro. My GM, like that boy be doing everything I say. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, Tampa Bay Rays fan says this one media guy on Twitter argued with me that the Titans game wasn't a statement game, but if the Bucs beat the 49ers, it is a statement game. Oh, it's definitely a statement game if we beat the Niners. But I think in its own way, the Titans game was a statement game. Trask will never get to start a game this year. Beat a dead horse with that conversation. Yeah, you might be right. Diggleman in the building. I see the defense doing well, but the offense could have some problems. I don't know. I truly don't know, man. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the other way around. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't sit here and be like, I can't believe it. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the other way around. If our offense actually does good and our defense is the one having problems. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the, you know what it might look like? Oh, man. And I hate to say it because it just hit me. It just hit me. Oh, God, I hate it. Oh, it just hit me. It just hit me. It just hit me. I wouldn't be surprised if it looks like the Texans game, which is like our offense did really good and could have won the game, but our defense just crapped the bed. That wouldn't shock me completely because we struggle against Kyle Shanahan, but that's not the game that I was talking about. The game that I said it hit me, that now I'm like, it's probably going to look like that game, is the Bills game. It's the Bills game. The Bills game. Now, the Texans game is not what I think it's going to look like. I just saying it's a possibility. That's not something that I feel like is, it'll never be like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I can say, like, you know, Dolphins beating the Broncos 70 points, it's going to look like that game. I can say for a fact I know it's not going to look like that game. I can definitely say that. I can't definitely say that it won't look like the Texans game, right? I can't say that because that's a possibility with this going against this offense. It's a possibility. And again, I can see our offense actually doing something. I can see our offense getting shut down as well. But the game that I think might resemble what might happen, the closest, what I think, is the Buffalo game. And a lot of people don't even know what that Buffalo game looked like. Let me tell you what that Buffalo game looked like. Defense was struggling, fighting for its life against that offense and Josh Allen. Our defense was fighting for its life against Josh Allen and that defense. Now, where a lot of that was because we didn't have Vita Vea and it made things very hard on our defense. We obviously have Vita Vea. We're actually healthy in this game, but I still think we might be fighting. We might be fighting for our lives. We might go out there and shock the world and kill their offense. I don't know. But I think if you put a gun to my head and say, RTP, you have to tell me what this game might resemble the most, it might be the Buffalo game, where our defense is out there fighting for its life. The offense is struggling. And then towards the end, the offense pulls out some miracles to make the game close. It wasn't really close, but because of what happens towards the end, it looks like it might have been close. Now, people, again, this is the difference between casuals and people that watch all 22 and people that break down not just film, but the team and game plans and stuff like that. We got our butts kicked by that Bills game, right? People are like, oh, we were a Hail Mary away. No, we weren't. No, we weren't. We weren't a Hail Mary away. The best way you can look at it is saying this. If we had another quarter, would we have won that team? No. If we had another quarter, we would have got beat by more. What happened was they were in control of the game. And I say this all the time that we do. We do this. And people think, oh, you just think you're all that. And I'm like, no, it's just what teams do, what good teams do. Or what a team that's better than you does. It's just what they do. When they have control of a game, they start putting things away and they let the game die out. And yeah, the other team might come back And if you do it too fast, you let a bad team like what we were that game have a chance to actually win that game because you did it too fast. But that's what a lot of teams that are better than you do. When they have control of the game, they start putting their plays away, start packing up early. Hey, we got this game. Let's pack up early. And then they just let the other team slowly come back, but they're killing the clock and they're just, the game's over. They're just slowly letting you come back. But some teams, they do it too fast. Or like we did with the Texans, we just was too easy and let them just came down the field way too fast. And then that happens. You let a team that you should have beat because you were in control the whole time end up beating you. But that's if I had to pick, that's what this game is probably going to look like. Something like that. Defense fighting for their lives, still doing their job, but fighting for their lives. And our offense probably struggling and then maybe pick it up towards the end. If I had to pick, it would probably be like that. But I still stand by my voice of this game could go any way. I really don't know. This game could go any way. Tampa Bay Rays fans, do you think if Rachaad White will have better numbers if they need better guards, he can put up Marshall Faulk type numbers based on total yards? I mean, yeah, maybe, yeah. I mean, again, I think Rachaad White is a really good running back. I think we got a really good running back room. It's now whether you're saying that it's the guards that is the problem. I think it's a little bit of the guards. Like, I'm not big on our guards. Like, oh yeah, we got our guards can run block really good, but I think it is a little bit of our guards and a little bit of the run scheme. A lot of bit of the run scheme. I think, to be honest with you. So obviously, yeah. The thing with me though is I'm used to not having a run game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I rather stay with, well, for one, I think Cody Mock is going to be better his second year. He's not bad this year, but I think he'll be a lot better. I think he'll have a big leap his second year. And maybe we'll go draft another guard the other one. I'm fine with Hainsey. A lot of people don't like Hainsey. I'm fine with Hainsey. Hainsey's super smart. He's the reason why we're able to block a lot of blitzes. So I'm fine with Hainsey, but I'm not opposed to like switching up the guards. Now our tackles, don't mess with our tackles. Leave our tackles where it is. Leave it there. Our guards, I like Cody. I think Cody's gonna be upgraded. I think Cody Mock is gonna be better next year. So I'm sticking with Cody. And our left guard with Stinney, we might be able to upgrade there. And center, I love Robert Hainsey. It depends on who we, try to replace Robert Hainsey with. I would rather not replace Robert Hainsey. I just rather replace the left guard, let Cody Mock get better, and then we got our line right there. That's what I would want to run with. But I'm not. It's not to the point where I'm like, you're stupid if you want to replace Robert Hainsey, or you're stupid if you want to replace Stinney. That's definitely not the left guard position. I can see why people want to do that. But yeah, he will. He's basically like Alex Kappa. Alex Kappa, he's doing way better than Alex Kappa. Alex Kappa struggled way more his rookie year and his second year. I think Cody Mayock is doing better than Alex Kappa because Alex Kappa slowly got better. He did okay to bad his rookie year. Second year, he did good enough to start. And then his third year was like, yeah, we got a guard now. Like, he slowly got better. I think Cody Mayock is already what Kappa was his second year. So that's why I think Cody Mock's second year is going to be really good. I think Look, we could be wrong, but that's what I'm projecting him to do. Was a converted tight end in college and played tackle in North Dakota State. Yeah, I know. I remember. All right. So it's been 2 hours. I pretty much said everything I wanted to say. I got to go to baby mama, go see my baby, go see my daughter, spend some time with her. I spent all night with her last night playing Mario Wonder. So that was fun. And now I get to see her again. So yeah, a few things are changing up in my schedule, with my work and now with the YouTube. So obviously, again, we're not doing the what do you call it? The NFC South Roundtable. Doesn't matter. I'll still be able to break our team down, and we will be sniping. We will be stream sniping. So don't get it twisted. We will be watching, even though I'm not in that round table no more, we will be watching the stupidity and the I thought I was right, but I was wrong all this time. We will be watching that on this channel. We will be sniping and stream sniping their channels and laughing at them and all that good stuff. So it ain't the last of the last that you see of them. Especially my guy Till's different. Till's a good guy. But as far as you know, Q messed it up, bro. Q got a, I don't know if it's insecurity or what, but he got a problem. You know, when it's several people that you're falling out of, you might just need to look in the mirror. So we will be hearing from them on my channel still, so don't worry about that. But it just might be in a different light. So we will be seeing that stuff. We got football tomorrow. We play at the 1 o'clock game. So yes, we will be able to watch their team lose and play dumb and laugh at them. And then we'll have another stream for our game and we'll do that. Shaman RTP, Skull Gang in the building. I'll see you guys next time I see you. Deuce, we out.